Hello, fabulous superstar Scorpio. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of April 2025. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. A limited number of consultations are now available with me or my friends, including Andy of Wise Ass Astrology, over on my website. Secure yours now at nadiyashah.com. Links below. This month's powerful full moon, which takes place on the 12th, happens in the sign just before yours. There is so much stirring on levels of soul, psyche, and spirit for you now, but it's also that a lot is stirring on a level of heart. In fact, matters of heart, what you really want in your heart of hearts. What is it that the voice of your heart is asking you to do? What fulfillment is like for you? What's joy? What is it that is going to help you to feel as if you are feeling in alignment with self-actualization, which is being well used for the things that you like about yourself? Whatever you think the answers are as you start this month, they just might reveal themselves to be something different. And it is an eye-opener for you now. On the 7th of the month, Mercury goes direct in a heart part of your sky. And then we have the full moon in the sign before yours. And just 39 minutes later, Venus goes direct also in that heart-oriented part of your sky. And so, as much as there is an awareness of what's happening in your internal world, and there may very well be with that full moon, fortunate karmic closures taking place and closing karmic ties, it is ultimately done in service of understanding that your heart itself is desiring something else, a new pathway, a new chapter, a new joy, or at least committing to a path of greater joy, welcoming it into your life more actively so going forward from here. So that full moon energy, here's the thing, it is speaking in a conversation of tension with Mars. Mars is at this point moving through a worldly and philosophical part of your sky. And so there might be a sense of a lot of feeling, a lot of what should be, what could be, what's right, what's moral, what's ethical, but ultimately all of those questions, they're just causing a stir within that you can't really understand what's really going on, or you can't put your finger on, or just is a distraction, really. You're focusing so much on all these matters that ultimately you have no power over. And it's fueling a sense of discontent. And the moment you realize that, the energy shifts, it changes. And what happens is we get Jupiter speaking in supreme harmony with this full moon. That is a massive blessing. It is Jupiter that is currently moving through a part of the sky for you that has to do with profound change, truth, transformation, power, wealth as well. And so as you come to this understanding of where you have power and the limits of your power, something transforms within yourself, where you find yourself more in alignment with what you are understanding as your sphere of influence and how you're going to wield it and how blessings can come about as you do so. This is a full moon of blessings that feel like they come out of nowhere. It's when you're pushing or trying or fighting to make it happen, that's when it feels like it's not coming together. But when you allow instead, you shift the energy. That's when you start tapping into the more Jupiterian vibe of this time. And that's when some of the best stuff that's going to happen this month just finds you. Mercury and Venus going direct, surrounding this full moon. Well, that does suggest, even though there's a lot of emotion, there's also clarity on a level of what the heart is wanting. And when you trust that, you will find even more circumstances unfold that feel genuinely fulfilling. Again, being well used for the things that you like about yourself is part of what magnifies for you at this time. Now, navigating later in the month, on the 27th, we're going to have a new moon, but it's the days leading up to that new moon that are mighty important. So throughout this month, Venus slows down, stands still, goes direct, and is close in the sky to Saturn and the North Node, which means that this is a time of consequence, but it's also a time where a karmic doorway is opening, from which new people, places, things, situations enter, which represent karmic blessings. When you are following your joy, following what it is that brings you happiness, you become that much more likely to have that doorway open for the universe to find ways in which to have all that new come in. What we have happening on the 25th is a more precise moment of Venus, Saturn, and the North Node together in the sky. And so whatever's happening at this time, it feels important. It feels like it has an impact in a meaningful way. It's a turning point, if you will. The day after this triple conjunction, we are going to have your ancient ruling planet Mars and your modern ruling planet Pluto standing across from each other in the sky for the third and final time as part of the larger Mars retrograde season that we're in the middle of now. Mars is direct, right? The retrograde is over. Mars is going to leave shadow at the very beginning of next month, which means that this is the last month of the larger season. We're almost there. And this is really the last important alignment that Mars is going to make. And it's a defining alignment with Pluto. And it is as if who you used to be and who you are becoming might feel like they're trying to figure out how to work together. And you're trying to figure out how you're going to bring the best of who you were into a present moment or present circumstance so that you can move your life in the direction you desire to go. And the whole process is a balancing act, but it can be stressful. I think a lot of people are going to feel rather stressed under this opposition. But once it perfects, that stress will quickly dissipate for a lot of us as well. But here's the thing, the day after this opposition, on the 27th, is when we have the new moon in your opposite sign. And that new moon is going to be setting up a larger configuration of tension with Mars and Pluto, called a T-square. The new moon in your opposite sign is about partnerships of all kinds, including business partnerships as well. And so what we have here is the activation of the opposition. Again, this older part of you and whom you are becoming, finding a way to connect, realizing what stays and what goes, what has to go if you're going to move forward into your future self, and where is it now that perhaps you've held on to certain patterns way too long, certain self-definitions that no longer serve you. Well, how is all of that showing up in terms of your partnerships and how people are treating you and how you feel they're relating to you? And does that work for you or not? Because this might be a moment of some tension and frustration as well between you and another. But it's ultimately a moment of awareness for you. What has been and where you're going and whether or not this person fits into that. And whether or not someone new who presents themselves might fit into that or not. What they represent for you and if that works for whom it is that you are today. Where it comes to matters of love, I gotta say this new moon is huge in the matter of love. Now add to this the fact that Mercury and Venus have spent part of their retrograde moving through a part of the sky that has to do with romance, flirtation, and what love is for you. And then you add a partnership part of the sky lit up, not to mention that just 2 days before that new moon, we get Venus, Saturn, and the North Node together in that heart part of the sky, asking you to consider what love is, to evolve, to mature your definition of love. And you can see here, it ends up being an incredibly important moment in the context of love. And so For those of you open to meeting someone new, I do think that the possibility of meeting someone new, it looks pretty strong. And I say this because when we have important lunar energy in your opposite sign, someone is there to help you to understand where you are in love and how you feel about it. And it is ultimately that new moon that pretty much guarantees someone new is likely to present themselves. But remember, with Venus and Saturn, all of us are feeling that energy, and the North Node is there. And all of us, in one way or another, are playing the long game. We're being encouraged to be patient with ourselves and others, especially in favor of love that is real, that is solid. And for you, it is that much more an awareness that is amplified at this time. You could meet someone with real long-term potential now, but it's important to pace yourself as you navigate this time, because it is a turning point moment as far as what love has been and what it's going to be for you going forward from here. For those of you just starting to date someone, if ever there was a moment of truth, this really would be it. And either you're going to have a fresh chapter with this person in partnership, or it just isn't going to work. I don't see a lot of middle ground with the energy here right now. It is you being very honest with yourself about whether or not there is love here. That's the Venus-Saturn North Node, and someone new could present themselves to you now as well. But ultimately, that new moon is that fresh chapter, whether it's with this person or in a whole other direction. There's no middle ground. And for those of you in an established bond, the overwhelming majority are going to find a newfound commitment on a level of heart with this person that you love. You're going to find a sense of renewal and a fresh understanding of the partnership you share. There'll be a very small percent out there, if you felt for a while that you might not be in the right relationship for you. I'm just seeing a lot of that discontent stir very strongly under the sky, especially as we move towards the later days of this month. It invites you to get very honest with yourself if you can keep doing this for the rest of your life. Now, Venus meeting Saturn, it always asks that question. Can I keep doing this indulgence, whether it's an indulgence in love or pleasure or otherwise? Can I keep doing this for the rest of my life or not? And if the answer is no, well, then that's your answer. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. For you, I'm going to say the opposition of Mars and Pluto. I think that is a very significant energy for the Scorpios now. It is the older part of you standing across a future part of you, thinking about whom it is that you are becoming and what choices that you've made in the past are contributing to where you are today, and what choices you want to keep making and what you no longer want to. That place of honesty within means that you can carry forward the best of what was, but also choose not to have the stuff that you no longer need be a part of your reality going forward from here. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership rate over at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, where you get expanded exclusive video scopes each and every week. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.